I'm making this video to help you understand how formulas work in a spreadsheet and the difference between a fixed cell and a free cell. So let's say we just generate some random numbers. We'll do by fives. I just want a couple of them. Okay. And let's say I want to take a specific number up here, let's say 17. We'll put that in that cell. So this is a cell that I'm interested in related to each one of these numbers over here. So for instance, I want to add 17 to each one of these numbers. So in the cell next to 5, I'm going to say equals. And I want to add the 17, so I'll click on the cell for 17, add it, and the cell for the 5, and hit enter. And 17 plus 5 is 22. So my next guess is, oh, let's just drag this formula down and see what happens. And what happens is not exactly what you want to happen. See, I'm trying to add 17 to each one of these numbers, but it only added it to the first one, and when it got to the second one, it didn't add anything to it. So let's see what happened. One way of looking at what happened is if I put a 1 in the cell below the 17, the 10 over here is going to change to 11. So when you drag formulas down, it drags addresses down also. So if you look at the equation up here in the formula bar, you have A3, which is the 17, and B5, which is literally the 5. Column A, row 3, column B, row 5. If we go down to where the formula falls apart, we have A4 as the number that we're adding, which is the 1 that I just threw in there, and the 1 down from it, 10. So when you're dragging, the addresses also drag. So what I want to happen is I want this cell, the A3, to stay fixed. And to force it to stay fixed, you have to put a $sign in front of the A and a $sign in front of the 3. The value doesn't change, but what you're telling the computer now is to keep that 17 fixed in the formula so that when you add 17 to each one of these numbers, you get the correct answer over here. So if we go down to this last one and look at the formula, it's referencing the 17 in the top left-hand corner and the 35 to add them together to give you 52. Alright, let's say I wanted to do a percent change between the cells in column C, or the values in column C, and that 17. So what I'd have to do is say equals, and because the formula is new minus old over old, I want the two top numbers to literally be divided by the bottom number. You have to start with a parentheses. So I'm going to say new, which is the 22, minus the old, which is the 17, and you just have to click on the cells. End the parentheses. You're going to hit the division, and we want to divide by the old, alright, and hit enter. Okay, first things first. Let's try dragging this formula and see what happens. So if we drag it down, this is what we get. So what's happening here is in the cell D, this one here, D6, we're taking 27, we're subtracting 17, and then we're dividing by, well, I'm sorry, we're taking 27, we're subtracting 1, and we're dividing by 1 to get the 26, because the formula moved down a cell away from the 17. Now these divide by zeros are caused by this cell here not having a value, so it assumes it's 0. So you're literally going new minus 0 over 0. Alright, so we need to fix this. So back to this cell. Which cell needs to be fixed? Well, we want the 22, 27, 32 numbers, so we're not going to touch this orange one. We want the 17 to be fixed. So in front of the A3, if I can get in here, I want a $sign. And in front of the 3, I want a $sign. And we have to do it to both of them because you need both of them to be fixed. The one on the top of the fraction and the one on the bottom of the fraction. It doesn't change the answer in this cell, but when I fill down, it gives me all the right answers there. Now, another thing you need to do to these decimals, this is not money, so don't change it to money. Get it down to one decimal value, nearest tenths. Oh, no. Don't get those down to the nearest tenths. Get them down to 3 decimal values, because we're going to change it to a percent. Now, you don't have to multiply by 100, because when you hit the percent button, it automatically does that. So you get a 29% change, a 58% change, and so forth and so on.